It's LuAnn Horseman, and here we are with Friday Findings with LuAnn. And today we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Amy Fuentes, and she has some wonderful things to share with us today. Welcome, Amy, and thank you so much for being part of today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, you were just talking earlier about you had an aha today. Would you like to share that with us?
Oh, yeah. I have these aha moments, these thoughts that occur to me on things that I think that I may or may not want to think, and if I don't want to think, how I can think of them differently. Did you
Yeah,
follow that whole stream of consciousness?
yeah, I think so.
Okay. So today, the download that I got was motivation versus inspiration.
Mm,
Because so many people say, I'm just not motivated, right? Whether it's to work out, be healthy, start a company, write a book, whatever your thing is that you're working to achieve. Sometimes we're just not motivated to do it. We just don't want to do the things that we need to do. And what I realize for people who know me pretty well, I am really about the words we choose to say out
mhm,
in the universe.
mhm.
Because what I've learned is that these words hold a vibration. Now, let me step back a second.
Okay.
For those of you who are not on the same page, um, our bodies are energy, pure and simple. We all give off a certain vibration. And we know this intrinsically because when we come across a person that's in a foul mood, they have a very different vibration than someone who's incredibly happy or somebody who's really in, sorrow or
Mm,
sad. And
mm,
so we give off different vibrations because we are energy. And
mm.
our words have different vibrations. And this has been proven. You don't need to take my word for it. There's proof all over the internet if you really want to go and research it, on the words spoken to plants and how certain plants die and thrive depending on the words that were used. And what I'm very conscious of, and I make a decision every day, is to be conscious and aware of my words, because my words that I choose are what is creating the life that I live. And so, in that, now that I've brought you up to speed, I realize today that the word motivation is a low vibing word. When
Mm,
I think of motivation, I think of work. I think of struggle. I think of being pushed. I think of doing something that I really don't want to do and trying to find the energy and effort to do it. But that's really not the case. When we want to achieve something, again, whether that's our health or our, a fit body or a new product or a business, whatever it is that we're striving for, we don't strive for it unless we're inspired. And when we can get inspired, then that energy is the momentum that we need to do those things that need to be done. So it's just a matter of flipping that perspective and calling it something a little bit different that
mm.
resonates and is a higher vibing word than the word motivation. Because everyone goes, I'm not motivated, or I'm motivated. And it just,
Mhm.
but if you say you're inspired, it,
Uh,
even me saying it, the
mm.
energy is just different.
Yeah, it seems like motivation comes with a pressure that inspiration does not. Like,
Yeah, I like to say almost like motivation is pushing you, like you need to push to do something, where inspiration just pulls you towards it. And it's a different feeling and a different word and a different vibration.
yeah, for sure. Wow, that is very insightful. I think that that's really helpful to me too, to think about that you're inspired by what we're doing in our businesses. Now, you are also an author, correct, Amy?
I am. I have a book called Words of Wisdom: What You Need to Know on the Road of Your Life's Journey. Yeah.
Oh,
And
tell us a little.
it was actually a book. It didn't start as a book. It actually started when my oldest was getting ready to graduate high school, and I woke up in an absolute panic. I was sweating, hyperventilating in a horrible panic because I was thinking, what if something were to happen to me? And I
Mm,
wasn't able to impart a lot of the wisdom and things that I wanted to leave and let her know about. So
mm,
for an entire year, as these thoughts, these whether they're aha moments or thoughts in general that I wanted to pass on to her, I would write them down. I didn't know quite what I was going to do with them. I don't know if I was just going to hand them to her when she graduated or what. But each step of the way, I ended up creating a book. And years later, when I started speaking on mindset, on creating the life that you love, on the fact that you are just one decision away from a totally different life, a lot of the insight that I included in the book for her and my other daughter was pertinent and important for others that were going through what I call life's transitions. That could be getting married, having a baby, getting divorced, being widowed, retiring, empty nest, menopause. These are all life transitions that can kind of rock our worlds. And having a book to refer to bring us back to the things that are important and the things that are uplifting is of benefit. So I now have it available on Amazon for those that are interested.
that's awesome. Maybe we could put the link in our comments.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Now, also, I just learned today that you're an inventor. I would love to hear a little bit about that.
this this is what we're talking about, inspiration, you guys. This was definitely an inspired idea. I had just moved years, goodness, over 20 years ago. I moved into my dream house, and my dream house happened to be on a septic system. Anybody know septic
Mm,
systems are different than public
mhm.
sewer, right? And you have to do things a little bit differently. And for those women in your audience, you cannot flush feminine hygiene down toilets on a septic system. And when the builder told me that, I'd never been on a septic system, so I was unaware. And when they turned the keys over and they let me know that, I was like, wait, what? And I thought, okay, well, that's disgusting. And I started looking for something to put my yuck in, so that it didn't make my whole bathroom yucky, right? And I
Mhm,
didn't have my husband having to see and deal with the yuck. And
mhm.
so I was like, I was surprised. There was nothing on the market. So again, inspiration was pulling me and kept pulling me. You guys, I have no background in engineering. I have no background in chemicals. I have no background in any of that. And I took one baby step at a time, and was very surprised on everybody's willingness to help me along the way. I would call someone and ask them a question. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
And I would ask them a question. They would give me some more information, and I would tell and would point me in another direction. They would say, we can't help you, but what you're really looking for is this.
Ah,
And each step of the way, I just took a very small baby step, and I created a product called Pon Packs. And it's short for tampon packs.
okay.
And it is a biodegradable zip top bag for the disposal of used feminine hygiene. And in addition to selling it and having it in hotels and restaurants and businesses, I then took it one step further and created a disposal unit where men, you may want to close your eyes and close your ears. But women in the women's public restrooms, right, LuAnn? They're
Right.
pretty gross.
Yes, it is.
And they have these trash cans
Mm,
primarily most of the time on the wall. And
right.
in order to put your yuck in there, you
Flush
need
that.
to lift the lid. And not
Mhm.
everybody is as hygienic, and not every bathroom has pond packs. So it is a receptacle full of biohazard, right? All the nastiness.
Right.
And so I created a receptacle where you can drop in a pond packs bag, drop the product on the top, and it automatically falls into the receptacle. So it's hands-free, touchless.
Oh, nice.
And the cleaning staff has the ability to not, believe it or not, my hat is off to custodians and janitorial services because they reach down into those yuck
Yes.
containers to
Yeah.
get those things out. So often they don't have bags to like lift out. So they have to.
Yeah. It grosses
So I
me.
created something that could be emptied from the bottom,
Mm,
so that they don't even have to put their hands in the receptacle in order
nice.
to get the
Take care of that, huh?
yeah, take care of that. So that's what I created years ago.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
it, and it was, in the like Marriott and a couple hotels and restaurants and businesses,
oh, wonderful.
university and stuff like that.
Sure. Is that something people can, get from your website or?
They cannot. It was commercial primarily,
Mm.
and I'm still looking for someone to purchase that company, but I am no longer servicing that product.
Oh,
So it is something that is not readily available, except, of course, if you want to take it over and then be able to launch it along with all the nuances that I have that created and the connections that I've made.
I see. Wonderful. Yeah, because we have a cottage that has a sewer system, and, we've run into that issue too, and my daughters and my grandkids are about that age where
Yep.
it will be coming up soon, so
Yeah, people in RVs and boats. My mother used to have a boating business, and she used to put them on her boats,
Mm.
because you can't dispose of it on, in the toilet on a boat either. So I actually had, at the time, I did allow people to buy them like individually on the website, um, and people would do it if they were like hiking and stuff
Mm.
like that. So there were many uses and purposes
Yeah,
for it.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's very interesting, and you are also a speaker. You speak for, different organizations and
I do. I
Mm.
do. Like I said, I speak on a lot of different subject matter, but the thread that ties them together is that we are all one decision away from a totally different life. And
Mm.
when we decide, when we reimagine our decisions, it allows us to find our voice, change our stories, and become our own heroes. And I do talks in everything from financial to career to relationships to health, for organizations and groups.
Oh, wonderful. So for my viewers, a lot of them are coaches and,
Yep.
yep, and women entrepreneurs. How would they
Yay!
Hey, how would they particularly use this, concept of making, the right decision each day? Is there something that you could speak to that about?
Absolutely, because I'm going to suggest or invite you not to say right decision. There's
Mm,
never a wrong decision.
okay.
There's a good decision, there's a better decision.
Mm,
And we are not programmed to make a bad decision
mm,
ever.
okay.
We don't look at something and say, yeah, I want something that really messes my life up. Or, yeah, I really want to just blow like hundreds of thousands of dollars. We always lean towards making the best decision. And only when we look back can we determine whether it was a good decision or a better decision. And I'm here to say that each decision we make is actually a better decision, because even if it doesn't work out the way you intended, it works out in a way it needed to get you where you are today. And I am living proof of that. After 9/11, my family was hit with a curveball, and our income was cut in half literally overnight after we had just moved into that dream house that I told you about. And it was like the rug was ripped out from under us. And Did we make the decision to be in that situation?
Right.
No, of course not.
Mhm.
But making the decisions, one small baby decision at a time to get us to a different place, allowed me now to look back and be grateful for that very difficult time in my life, because had I not experienced it, I would not be able to raise my children differently and have them have a different relationship with money. It wouldn't have forced me to have a different relationship with money, and it wouldn't have given me the knowledge and the experience that I draw upon to help others avoid or overcome that kind of a situation.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
any decision that we make, even though it doesn't maybe pan out quite the way we had thought, it's
Yeah.
never a bad decision. It's a learning opportunity to
Sure.
get you where you need to be.
A lesson, yes, it's always a lesson in every decision we make too, and that, we're always falling, you know, failure is had such a bad name, doesn't it?
Well,
Whereas
that's another low vibing word,
yeah,
you know. I
yeah,
like learning lesson. I think that each opportunity is a lesson to learn, whether it's, something that's a positive or one that we deem at the time to be negative. Although when we have hindsight and look back, we might determine that it's actually a positive. And people might be like, hmm. But, think about it. People who get divorced many years later, now maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 10 years later, get to the point where they can look back and say, that was really hard, but it was like a gift wrapped in sandpaper. It was not fun, but I'm living a much better life as a result of that.
sure, sure, definitely a lesson in everything that we do, isn't there? Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm like, somebody I know, her name is Trisha Fraley. I always pronounce her last name wrong, but she calls it out of the fire, and
mm,
how we go through refiner's fire so that we refine ourselves to become a better version. We step through the fire and out the other side, a better version of ourselves.
for sure. Yeah, that really makes a difference to our lives too. You can see that difference if you look back. It's nice, how do you feel about, like, staying in the present versus looking back and looking forward?
We're intrinsically taught to look back and to look forward.
Right?
I think that it's a challenge for some of us to
Mhm,
be in the present moment. I think that when we stay in the present moment, we have an opportunity to not invite necessarily a lot of what I call worry and regret.
mm,
When a lot of people look back, they kick themselves and they said, "Oh, I should have known better. I should have done better." And I'm here to cut you some slack on that. If you knew better, you would have done better.
right,
You didn't know better, so you did the best you could. Again, going back to there is no bad decision.
right.
Um, and and so many people get stuck looking back, either thinking, "Oh, that defines them," or,
Mm,
"Oh, life was really good back then. It can't get any better."
mm,
And going back to what I was saying before about our words, when we say things like that, life can't get any better than it is. If you think it long, if you say it, if you think it and say it long enough, you'll believe it. And when you believe it, it actually becomes your reality. And
mhm,
LuAnn, there is a ton of science behind this. When you speak it and you think it and you believe it, there's a part of you called a reticular activating system,
mm,
and it actually ignites that. And whatever you believe, that system goes out to prove you correct. So if you physically believe that it can't get any better than this, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
yeah,
So if you don't think you can get any better, it can't.
right,
So
right,
catching yourself thinking those thoughts, saying those things, and then making that decision that you no longer want to say those.
mm,
There are actually certain words that I have worked at taking out of my everyday conversation.
okay.
Like, go
Would
ahead.
you give us some examples of what words that you've
Yes.
taken it. So,
I have removed the word try.
aha.
I no longer try. Either you do it or you don't. But when you say, I'm going to try, that gives you a window that you really aren't going to do it.
Right.
You're not, the intention behind that is I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to have enough time. I'm not going to have enough energy. I'm not going to have enough money. I'm not going to have whatever. When you tell somebody, even yourself, that you're going to try something, you're not all in, you're not committed. So I have removed the word try. I have, sometimes there is a message that I want to convey. And so if I want you to, attempt something new, then I'll use the word attempt and not the word try.
Ooh,
So
perfect.
I invite you to attempt something new
Mhm.
instead of I think you should try something new.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so again, being very conscious of the words that we're choosing to put out there.
Wow. That's very, very, yeah, like Yoda says, there is no try, right?
No try. You
No
either do it or you don't.
try or not. Is there
And
anything
it's
words that you particularly, have taken out of your vocabulary that people should be aware of?
oh my goodness, try was a really big one. I'm trying to think. I'm trying. I am looking for the other words that I have removed.
Done a really
Um,
good job of taking them out of your vocabulary so
yeah, I have worked really hard over the years
sure,
to
that's good.
remove those things. And you guys, I'm not perfect. Do I use the word try? Yes, I use the word try, but now I'm aware of it. And when I use it, I stop. I say, wait a minute, that's not what I meant.
Mhm,
That's not what I really meant. I
right.
meant that I'm sorry. I'm not able to do that.
Mhm.
That's another word actually that I really refined.
Oh,
The word sorry,
mhm,
especially for women. We bump into someone, sorry.
mhm.
I'm having a bad day. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Um, you offended me. I'm sorry. I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late.
mhm,
But in actuality, we're not sorry that I'm late. I'm not sorry. I am thankful that you waited for me.
right,
And
right.
so removing the sorry from the vocabulary has been enlightening how many times I actually said that. I'm sorry for not catching your call. I'm sorry for not being appropriately dressed.
Right.
I'm sorry. And instead replacing it with thank you.
I'm
Thank
sorry I keep saying I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I've also tried to work on that word of saying I'm sorry because that is something that comes out of my mouth without me thinking about it. So I've been trying to stop that word, and using something different. So that is very eye-opening. I think that, if people had started to do that more, they would be more, able to understand that they're taking away their power by doing that, right?
Well, exactly. You are giving up your power by constantly apologizing. And LuAnn, it makes me chuckle because in that last thing that you just said, you said trying like twice.
I
And
did.
so these things that we are ingrained in us
Yeah.
that we don't even think about. And so when people are stuck,
Mhm.
sometimes it's a good invitation to look and see what are you thinking and what are you saying
Mhm.
because you're continuing to create that stuckness until you can make the decision to do something different.
Okay, okay. What do you propose for people to try, I said it again.
You did.
What could we add to our lives that would help us be more aware of the language that we use?
Well, first of all, I've done it. I've activated your reticular activating system.
Oh, good.
And this is, and people are like, I don't understand this reticular. So let me give you a story. Okay. My my one day I came home from work years ago. Now you got to take it back. This was over 20 years. And I came back and I don't know about you, but my husband doesn't get like giddy happy. You know what I mean? Like you don't normally see men going, they just don't. they don't react in that way when they're excited or happy about something. But I drove up my driveway and I saw the garage door open. My husband was sitting there almost giddy. He was so excited. And I was really tired, you guys. I was really, really tired. But I thought, all right, I'm going to play along. And I said to him, I, pull into the garage and I say, you seem really excited. What gives? And he said, I've decided what our next car is going to be. Now, we were not in the market for a next car. So here I am a little irritated. And I was like, don't get irritated, play along. And I said, okay, I'll play. What kind of car are we getting? And he said, now again, there was no car like this on the roads at this time. He said, I love it. It's called a Hummer. And I was like, a what? He goes, a Hummer. And my brain is thinking, trying. My brain is working really fast to think of a word or something to diffuse his excitement because I want a Hummer. I was like, isn't that a military vehicle? Yeah. He goes, yeah, it is so cool. And I'm thinking, and he goes, I said, I don't think it's going to fit in the garage. And I know he's all about it fitting in the garage, right? He goes, see, I've got a tape measure. We've got a 1/2 inch to spare. Oh, man. So what he had done in that conversation was he had activated my reticular activator. The next day I got up, I get in the car to go to work. And I'm driving in, traffic like many people before, COVID would actually drive in rush hour traffic. And all of a sudden something caught my eye and I went, I kid you not, there was a yellow Hummer next to me. I thought, this is too weird. The Hummer gets off the highway and I'm driving along and I get to work and I pull into the parking space and this car whips in around me. And I look like who is that? Another Hummer. I work all day. I'm tired. I battle traffic coming home. I pull up the driveway and no, he didn't get a Hummer. But my neighbor came running over and said, get John, go get him. I want to show you something. And I'm thinking, oh, he got like, a Corvette, a Camaro, maybe a Mercedes, like some sort of car, midlife crisis car. And I get him and we go over and sitting in his driveway was a shiny red Hummer. Now, did all of a sudden 1 million Hummers come onto the road the day after my husband told me that he wanted a Hummer? No, but what he had done was he had made me aware and my mind went out to find all of the Hummers that were out there. So when we activate our reticular activating system, Mel Robbins describes it really well when she talks about the reticular activating system and the fact that we get exposed to so much information that our brain needs to pick and choose what it lets in. And when you activate that reticular activating system, it chooses that thing that you didn't see before because there was too much information coming in. And now it says, I'll allow this to come in. So now that I've activated your reticular activating system, you'll become more aware when you use the word try or you use the word sorry, and you'll stop yourself just after. And then what happens is as you continue with that, it'll get a second before. Like you'll all of a sudden, you'll go to say trip and you'll stop yourself. And then it'll get to the point where you're thinking it and you'll be aware that you're thinking it before it even comes out of your mouth. And so it will eventually become that habit.
Okay. Sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate you being here, Amy. And I heard that you had something that you could share with our viewers today.
Absolutely. As I said, I love to show people that they're one decision away from a totally different life. And you can achieve that life by making really tiny, tiny changes. I'm not talking massive. I'm not asking you to get up 3 hours early to do something. Tiny 10-minute changes, making that decision and not trying, but actually doing. And so I created a life-changing planner that people can use, download for free, and use no matter what item in their lives they're looking to change.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So we're going to put that link in the comments. So look below, and you'll be able to download that from Amy. So thank you so much, Amy, for being here. I appreciate that. You all have a wonderful day. I believe in you. Have a wonderful day, and go forth and start using the words that will inspire you and make your day even better. So take care. All right. Bye bye.